Hello to everyone, I'm Margherita and today I would like to speak about some aspects of my research. This short video will depict how implementing a digitalized cadastre of Georgian vineyards can help local wine producers export to the EU. Georgia is considered the birthplace of wine, a central component of social and economic life, becoming one of the most potent identitary symbols of the country. For centuries, families have grown a unique varieties of grapes, processing them in the qvevri, a typical Georgian technology to ferment, age and store wine. This traditional winemaking technology survived the mass standardized and mainly low-quality production of the Soviet times, thanks to informal household production. During the 90s, the Georgian wine sector underwent a crisis, but in the last decades, Georgian wine has been exported worldwide. In 2016, the Deep and Comprehensive Free Trade Area Agreement between Georgia and the European Union entered into force. This treaty allows Georgia to export selected products, including wine, into the EU market if they meet the requirement outlined in the treaties. To enter the EU market, wine producer must comply with the EU costly norms. Coming back to the 90s and first 2000s, the registration of the newly privatized land was problematic, marked by a high level of corruption, fraud, and conflict of interest between state agencies. In 2004, during the first Saakashvili presidency, the new National Agency of Public Register was established, which improved the efficiency of land registration and transfer, visibly reducing informal practices. Establishing a cadastral database is required to govern vineyard registration, manage viticulture and winemaking decisions, plan an effective vintage and movement control. In particular, a digital cadastre handles secure data storage and backup, information sharing between departments, and remote access to data. Since 2014, the cadastre program has been assisting wineries in predicting their raw material base and planning production capacity, which will directly reflect an increase in their financial position and facilitate their opportunity to have the requirement to export to the EU. But how the Georgian Vineyard Cadastral Program is it implemented? Through which digital tools? The data is acquired using a combination of fieldwork, interviews with wine growers, and aerial photography to identify vineyard parcels. The companies employed to develop the program use the popular GIS program, Geographic Information System, which permits storage, retrieving, managing, displaying, and analyzing various geographical and spatial data forms, creating maps and other visual representation of geographical data. GIS, in terms of software technologies, consists of a series of elements that are linked to each other to help to store information and connect them with external information systems. The aerial photography and ortho maps of vineyard are taken by pilot test vehicle. To speak also about informality, here is an example of a picture elaborated by the GIS program. We can hypothesize that in the upper part of the map, the small and divided vineyards plots are farmed by households, which can be used for informal wine production. On the other hand, in the lower part of the map, a more intensive and organized vineyard appears, with a better access to the river's water resources. To conclude, a digital cadastre can help a wine producer to export to the EU and bring to light informal practices.